Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mahwash Ajaz. You're watching me on YouTube and you're listening to me on Spotify. As always, I have a slew of guests on this podcast where I talk to them about their lives and what they do in their lives that can help us understand our lives more. I always have these, different brands of guests and variety of guests from the entertainment world, from behind the scenes. Today, I've got someone very different, someone who's not really at all part of the entertainment world, but still a wonderful conversationalist and a wonderful personality. So it's not like she won't add much to what we already talk about, because there are issues which are very close to my heart, such as feminism, empowerment, making it on your own, doing things on your own, and being independent in a society where that's probably not looked at as very great. She's very close to me. I have a very close relationship with her. She's actually my sister-in-law. She's a doctor. She's a dentist, and she's a chemistry teacher at Cedar College, Karachi. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Parsa Asif. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Such a bright, sunny girl with a great, bright, sunny smile, which we'll talk about. Parsa, thank you so much, first of all, for giving me your time.
The honor is all mine.
Yeah, and you're very happy today, so we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about your journey as a woman. You travel a lot. You've traveled alone. You've been an established teacher for quite a while as a chemistry teacher. You are one of the most coveted teachers of chemistry in Karachi right now for ONA levels, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
a chemistry teacher.
Yes.
It's an ordinary chemistry
No,
teacher.
I don't think that's true at all, because I see the love that your students pour on you, and especially today. What's so special about today, first of all?
So my students just got the results today. The O and A level results were announced today. So and my students have done wonderfully well. Like they've got exceptional results. So it's, I think, the best day to really be on this podcast and talk about my journey as a teacher.
Yeah.
Because I feel so fulfilled and I feel so much gratitude that it's just unexplainable. Like the reason why I shifted gears from teaching, from dentistry to teaching, even though for most people it's like, why did you transition? Like, why do you leave dentistry from being a doctor, in such a noble profession, to becoming a teacher, which is also very noble. But I have not regretted even one bit of it, because there's so much instant gratification in teaching, like, how...
Not in medicine?
In medicine too, of course, but with patients, some processes, like they're not done in first visit only or in a single visit only, right? And when you relieve them of their toothache or whatever, definitely that is
you
also...
don't see them for a while.
You don't see them for a while, or you just extract a tooth. I mean, you just extract a tooth and they leave, some people don't even get their tooth extracted because it was hurting. It was maybe just required for another procedure.
Yeah.
So there is, but not as much as you see in teaching.
And teachers are always loved. They're kind of like celebrities to students, right? And dentists are not celebrities.
Yeah, I personally loved my dentist because I was so conscious when I was a kid. Smiling was because I always had injuries in the lower third of the face.
Oh, no.
So I had bad teeth. There was so much malocclusion that I cannot even explain. I don't even want to show pictures of my teenage years because there's
a safe space. I love you, so it's fine. I won't judge.
But I was so conscious always, and my dentist gave me the courage to smile. But again, that was over a period of 2 years. So I mean, every day I would not be like, oh my God, thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much. I would not do that. So I can't expect the same from my patients as well. But with my students, even if there's a small question which they're stuck on, and you just explain it to them, and it's magical to them, and they're just in awe,
how did you do that?
You so much, And so that I really like, because there's so much instant gratification. And I mean, that motivates all of us, right?
True.
If you're getting that kind of
love,
who wouldn't like it? So every single day I'm just so thankful for what I do, because it's I feel so blessed to have those students, and also the kind of students who appreciate you. As students, we were also very appreciative of our teachers, but how the generation has changed, I feel there also comes a little sense of entitlement amongst.
And you're in a social media generation, but I think you've really added to your portfolio as somebody who's not just a teacher, but somebody who's very interactive with students.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's an added dimension that you add as a
Definitely.
person?
So because when I started my teaching career, that was quite young. Like right after my house job, I got into teaching, right?
Okay.
So I was a young teacher, and obviously what the kind of obviously the more experienced teachers out there, right? So they always would suggest us, like the younger lot, to be a little strict in class, to not be too friendly with the students because they can take advantage of it. And I understand why they said that.
Okay.
But at the same time, because we were younger and like relatively still are compared to the older
teacher lot,
teachers, right? The OGs, right? So we're still relatively younger, and sometimes, like initially, in fact, it was very difficult for the student to kind of take you seriously. Like it would be like, look at her, like
she's so young. What's she gonna teach me?
Looks like an A-level student. What is she gonna teach me?
You still do, by the way. You got that compliment recently.
When I was entering the graduation of my kids this year, they stopped me at the gate and there's like, "Beta, where is your invite?" And I'm like, "I'm the teacher, right?" So anyway, but point being that, I understand why the teachers would suggested us to be a little firm with the kids. But I just realized when I stepped into the classroom without having the prior experience of teaching, when I stepped into the classroom, I just felt like initially I tried a lot. I tried to be a little strict and a little all of that, but it just took too much of my energy to be something or someone I'm not.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, instead of just putting all that energy in trying to be someone else, I'd rather just channel all that energy into my teaching.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then I'm not focusing on teaching. I'm focusing on, I need to be strict.
Right.
I need to, set them straight.
Right.
So I was just like, it's fine.
I'll be chill. I'll be myself. Cool, Miss Parsa.
And I don't have to, I don't know. Some people might think that, okay, she's kind of doing that, like maybe using it as a USP, trying to be the cool teacher.
Okay.
But that part of me, like the friendly part of me, is also, it just flows naturally. I just do whatever flows naturally. And I just try to conserve all my energy and just navigate it all towards my teaching. So like, I don't want to be too friendly or put too much energy in being friendly. I don't want to be too Gen Z-ish or put too much energy into being that. I'll just be myself. There's so many words my students say to me in class and like on social media. And I'm like, what is this? Kya bol rahe ho? And they're like, Miss, you're so millennial. Miss, you don't know this. You don't know that. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to be so cool for them. It's okay. Like I'll just be myself. There's so many things I learned from them.
Yeah.
And so I've just tried to. I also feel like, the other thing that made me realize that I don't want to be strict. I don't want to be something I'm not or someone I'm not, is that when I was trying to be strict or trying to, manage the class by making the students fear me, that kind of also led to a fear of asking me questions. The students would kind of hesitate to ask me things because they were just so like, oh, she's strict. There was also times that students would bunk because they'd be so scared to come to class. They'd just not show up. And I was like, okay, this is not working. I don't want a kid to be scared to come to my class. I want them to be like, okay, this is the class that I'm not going to miss.
Right.
Because this is the one that, even if I don't learn anything, it'll brighten up my mood. It'll brighten up my day.
Right.
So, and I want to be there for my students.
So how do you work around if there is a disciplinary issue, or if there's someone who's not listening to you, who's bothering you? How do you deal with that?
Ever since I kind of try to be myself, the occurrences of such incidents was very, very low. Because, and I know when students cross the line, I need to put my foot down, and I have. So it's not that because I'm friendly, I have not been able to maintain a class. I can very easily balance.
It worked out for you.
Yeah. So I had to, like initial years, of course, like the first year, in fact, I feel that was the only year where I was kind of
finding your
figure
footing,
out
really.
How I want to manage a class, how I want to take a class. But then once that was established, I think I've not really had problems in trying to do so.
So Parsa, when you became a teacher from your journey as a dentist, and it's a very male-dominated field, medicine, and medicine still, but I would still say that there are women.
Yeah, practicing
less.
dentists or doctors are way less. Yeah, compared to males, definitely.
Yeah, and then even teaching A level, AS level teaching is O level teaching is pretty much male dominated. You've made it into a sphere which is may be surprising to some people, because people are like, no, teachers so aurtein ho sakti hain, what's the big deal? Women are such good teachers. But then I feel like what people forget is that at a lower level, when there's nursery and pre-K and primary school level teachers are still there, because बच्चे भी जा रहे हैं, माँ भी जा रही है, okay, fine, no problem. But then as your grades get higher, college education, and even when I taught in a university, I was pretty much, we were very few women in a very large group of
male-dominated
men. So when you stepped into that field, and when you now travel so much, and I've seen such gorgeous pictures of you and my brother, and you guys travel a lot, and you've traveled alone with your friends as well so many times. How do you navigate as a woman in your professional life, in your personal life, and what are the main challenges you faced in trying to establish yourself as a as somebody on their pure merit?
So when I got into teaching, like, of course, I had not really. I knew I loved it, and I knew I wanted to continue teaching.
Right.
But my intention of starting A-level chemistry, like teaching A-level chemistry, was just because I wanted a routine. So I was teaching tutoring final year and third year BDS students.
Okay.
So that was normally during like after 4 or 5, that's when my tuitions would start.
Right.
So I thought, okay, maybe I should just take up something in the morning.
Right.
Because I just wanted to kind of have a routine. So that's when I joined Cedar. And my intention was, I loved chemistry. And I loved biochemistry also in my dentistry. That was my first year subject, which everybody in my class hated because they did not like chemistry. So out of the 96 students, I think only 6 liked biochemistry, and I was one of them. And I also got a distinction in biochemistry, also showing my inclination towards the subject, right? So I really enjoyed my A-level chemistry. So I was like, okay, might as well, teach chemistry if I'm getting the opportunity. So I wasn't intending to be a full-fledged A-level chemistry teacher.
Okay.
My plan was to, maybe do this for a while and then
go back
to a non-clinical master's in a dental subject and then teach that.
Okay.
But then when I got into Cedar, I just somehow, the kids liked me. I enjoyed teaching, of course. And it just happened that I had no time for dentistry. I had some patients. My colleagues at Cedar, they would need fillings and root canals, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can do it. I used to work at my teacher's clinic as well, but then I would really not have the time because teaching A-level chemistry.
And do you miss that?
Not so much. No.
Not so much.
So
you're happy what you're doing
I
now?
am very content with what I'm doing right now. The reason why I kind of chose teaching, it was like a decision in my head. My parents never forced me or, questioned me as to why you're changing careers. And like that's like
and they were supportive pretty much.
They are very supportive. And I, just as an explanation for other people, it was just that, okay, so if someone comes to me at 3 a.m. in the night and says, oh, can you fill my tooth? And I'd be like, okay, well, if it's not hurting a lot, if you're not in pain, can we please see to it in the morning?
Okay.
But if someone comes to me at night at 3 a.m. and asks me to teach them something, I'd be like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, God, so, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, that is why I want to teach, So when the intention initially wasn't to just teach A-level chemistry, but just so happened that it kept me so occupied and I enjoyed it so much. And it was like, of course, a two-way thing, right?
Yeah.
The kids loved me. I loved them. I love teaching them,
So you carved that space in the
main dominated sphere. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then I had to cut down on my dental tuitions as well.
Yeah.
And I also had to cut down my hours at the clinic, right? And to date, it's been we started back in 2017 teaching at Cedar. And to date, I have not regretted my decision of not going back to dentistry and just...
So are you saying that it's because you loved what you did so much that you didn't consider all the other issues like, oh, I'm male-dominated sphere, and
I had not considered it at all because that was not my plan initially. So I had not thought about it. That, oh, will I be able to make my space in a male-dominated society?
Yeah.
Society, yes, and field.
Yeah.
But when I started teaching, it just so happened that I kind of just became so good at what I did. And I think just my work speak for itself.
Yeah.
Like I did not have to prove it to the men. I did not have to prove it to anybody. The students loved me. I was doing good. And, I think that's all that mattered. And I don't know generally about the other schools. I hope not. But in Cedar, I never was made to feel that I'm a woman or like I cannot be successful.
Did you face the support from women in your ranks?
I mean, I just feel that it could be like of course, with success there comes a lot of other things as well. And you hear things like when you're at a certain level and you've risen from
anonymity, pretty much, yeah.
Right? And you've done it purely, like you said, based on merit, right? And just hard work and skill, I'd say. But of course, there's always, when you see, I think also society, not just colleagues, but society, when they see a successful woman, especially, it's always like there's always some kind of
negativity
associated with it. It's always like, oh, she must have done XYZ thing.
Something wrong.
Yeah,
to reach where she is.
Yeah,
she can't possibly be that good.
It can be purely merit.
Yeah. How is that possible?
She's probably sucking up to the bosses, or she's just.
Or then there are character assassinations that happen. Of course, like
like that. And since, like you said, there are not a lot of female tuition teachers, and I was doing tuitions as well, right?
Yeah.
So I had like crazy hours. Like I would. Once my Cedar classes would end, I would do tuitions till like 9:30 p.m. Right? So obviously, like with that, like a lot of people have a lot of things to say.
Yeah.
That ye to raat tak pata nahi padha rahi hai, kya kar rahi hai, whatever,
Yeah.
But then what my dad said? He's like, beta, just put your head down, do your work.
And your family trusts you.
My family trusted me. They supported me. Because, of course, they saw the hard... And I'm sure other people do too. They see the hard work, but it's just... They don't want to recognize it.
And they don't want to accept.
They don't want to, recognize it.
And I think we talked about it earlier also, that there is a particular narrative when it comes to successful women. We don't accept a successful woman easily.
The definition of woman in our society, unfortunately and sadly, is that if she is some object to be pitied on, she's a good woman, If she's going through struggles, if she's going through hardships, if she's having problems, if she's facing domestic violence, all of that.
We can accept.
This is a good woman, She has so much patience. Oh, Bichari is going through so much. We like that woman, But if it is a woman who has worked hard, continues to work hard, faces all the challenges.
With a smile on her face, stays positive.
Stays positive, does not let her nature towards you or others get bitter. People don't accept that. Like, it's just like they cannot gulp it down, let alone digest it. Like, it's just
there must be something wrong with her.
There's something fishy. It can't be all good. Like, she's definitely not that skilled. She's educated, but there are people more educated than her.
Why her? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I also believe that you're one of those people, and I've known you for so long now. I think you're one of those people who I saw little quotes that said that be a hype woman. Yeah. Because everybody's got haters. We've got enough haters. And you're so positive about everything. You're always pushing people to be positive. You yourself are very positive.
Yeah.
What makes you so positive? Like, how do you stay positive generally?
Like, even though I've not lived enough years, but I've faced a lot in my life. Like, I've experienced a lot. Like, and of course, I'm comparing myself to someone who's my age and someone I know closely.
In your peers.
In my peers. Like, the girls around me or the women around me, right? So I feel like I have seen enough. I have been through enough. And I'm sure, like, not everybody's life is perfect and everybody has their own struggles and challenges. But my struggles, my challenges, they just made me feel like, you're never really certain about anything in life. Anything could happen. And, it could be your health, it could be your family, it could be your
Money,
personal life, it could
anything.
be anything, right? So I think just facing losses in life made me feel like, okay, like, every day is kind of like a gift, right? And you just need to make the most of it because you don't know what comes next. And I think that kind of also drives you to face challenges head on. Like, I feel like a lot of things that have happened to me, I have been able to
rise from them
because of this attitude. Like, it's very easy to, and I'm not going to say that there were times when I needed support and I needed help, but then sometimes I just feel like it is what it is. And, you can't just worry and work towards things which you can change, situations which you can alter. But things which you can't change, like let's suppose if I have diabetes, I mean, I can cry all I want about it, but that's not changing it. Right? I don't, but I'm just giving you an example. Right? It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. The only thing I can do is fix the rest of the things. Make sure that I'm taking my medicine on time. Make sure that I'm working out, eating a healthy diet. That's all I can do, and those are the things which will help me to have a better life. Just crying about it, sulking about it, telling others and getting sympathy about it will not do the job. So, and I get it. Like, people have different thresholds. Like, my friend, like she's on a wheelchair, and we've been together since 21 years, right? And honestly, like, I've traveled a lot with her, and if someone like her cannot do most of the things we can, who are physically able, right? But with her, like, I think I got a lot of courage from her as well, because when we would travel together, we'd see a flight of stairs and we'd be like, oh shit, like how are we gonna go up there? But I would just carry her and I'd be like, yeah, like, we'll do it. We'll manage. And literally we've traveled so much, and whether there is a lift or an elevator, we don't need it because we've just, managed. We're like, okay, this is what it is, and we have to do it.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Like we've done underwater, not rides, but like, I really wanted her to at least experience what the underwater
was like,
would be like, right? And we were like, okay, let's just do it. Like, and we did it, right? And we've done so many adventures together, which I feel that is because we have been so positive about life, or like, we've not let our limitations.
You didn't let life get you down.
Yeah, and I mean, there will always be something. There will always be something, no matter how physically abled you are, no matter how financially stable you are, no matter how mentally stable you are, there will always be something in your life which will not be 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is, है तो है. आप बस उसी को accept करके, and you just need to keep moving forward. You can't stand still because life will not stop for anybody.
No, it doesn't.
It's on you how you will take up the challenge and live through it,
Parsa, जब हम teaching की बात करते हैं, and you're talking about biochemistry, which, like you said, most people in your class didn't even like, and you were sailing through it. Teaching also, and teaching chemistry also, it's a difficult challenge, and I completely understand how you sort of look at life. Like, you look at life as a thing that, okay, it's a gift every day. Okay, so now even chemistry is a gift. For me, it's a challenge. But tell me about chemistry more, that now that you're a professional, successful teacher, and now there are teachers, and now there's this whole ecosystem of professional teachers who are trying to make it into a very, again, competitive field, because it's not, then when it's competition, it's not just between men and women, it's overall, the whole competition is quite fierce. When you say that you were really good at it and you came into it because you loved it so much, for a lot of people, it becomes the situation of, oh, okay, we don't have anything else, we'll do this. These are the opportunities at present. I think that happened to me. Because when I was, I wanted to pursue clinical psychology, like very hardcore clinical psychology. And I got an offer teaching, and I don't like teaching.
Yeah.
I like interacting with people. I'm a very people person, but I don't like teaching. I found it very exhausting.
Yeah, because I think you kind of also need the temperament for it.
Yeah, I don't have the temperament for teaching. Like, I have the temperament of therapy. I did counseling well, but because I think teaching is more like I'm one person and then there's a huge group.
Yeah.
That kind of it made me exhausted on many various levels. Also, I think it was the rut. I was also tired of the rut because I was doing the same lecture, monotony. Yeah. Anyway, but then it paid really well. So it kind of was paying the bills, and it was helping me run my
It's financially lucrative.
Financially lucrative, especially in countries like South Asian countries where there's a huge emphasis on academia.
Yeah.
Tell me about now when you look at how this field is growing, and what you would say to the teachers who want to come into. Now you're kind of a veteran. You've been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah.
So when they're young women like you may not consider teaching as a like the main career.
Yeah, it's like a side hustle.
Side hustle. कर लिया, भूल गए, time pass कर लिया, दिल चाहा तो अच्छा हो गया, fit हो गए तो बैठ गया. Would you recommend this as a main hustle?
I would only recommend it if you really enjoy it, because like you said, it can be monotonous. It is really physically exhausting as well.
It is.
Especially the number of batches I take. It's like 11 classes on the trot per day, right? So, I mean,
does that include your tuitions also?
Yeah, including my tuitions. So that is really exhausting. Of course, like the tuitions are on you. Like if you don't want to do it, you don't do it, right? But I mean, when you enjoy it, you don't mind it so much, right?
Okay.
I mean, it is physically exhausting. It is mentally draining. And like, now, not back when I was doing my A-levels, I would not really be entertained by my teachers on WhatsApp. But now we're like entertaining our kids. They're sending questions like, emails to bahut ab piche reh gaye. Nobody even responds to emails or reads emails.
It's like really. WhatsApp, Insta,
it's just like a formality. But now we've like made ourselves open to students. So I mean,
in many ways of communication.
And I mean, I feel like as a teacher, I don't mind that. Like I want to be there available for my students. But yes, like I said, it is exhausting because I'm like responding a day before the exam. I'm like responding to kids and their queries till like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Right? So you can only plow through it if you really like it. Because then and I feel like that's not just for teaching. But
I was about to say anything.
Right? Like, and I feel really fortunate and lucky that I kind of found what I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
Because that makes me, it never has been a day that I wake up and I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't, because it's like early mornings and I'm not a morning person. Right? So, I mean, but there hasn't been a day. Like my body clock is so trained now that Monday to Thursday up and I'm not grumpy and I'm not upset that what have I done? Why am I doing this? I really look forward. The minute I step in the class, it's like, I just
had jolt of energy.
Like I just had Red Bull or something.
A shot of adrenaline.
Like, so much adrenaline and so much passion. Like it just shows, and I think it kind of reflects. I like a lot of students have told me that as well. That they kind of they can. My energy translates into
it always does. It
right?
always does.
And that they appreciate that as well. So so basically, like I said, anything if you do not enjoy it,
don't do it.
It will be work.
Yeah.
But if you really enjoy it, it will be effortless, So, like I said, I have never woken up feeling upset or angry.
Bitter.
Oh my God, why am I doing this? But if anything, if I have any personal issues going on in my life, teaching makes me feel better. It's therapeutic for me.
It's so cool to hear. Yeah. Achha, Parsa, we've been talking about Pakistani dramas also, and I've tried to get you hooked on certain dramas. Are there any dramas that you're particularly watching these days? I've recommended.
The one that you recommended, Jaffa, I'm watching that, and I kind of can relate.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about it, because as a person, you've achieved so much on your own footing, and yes, we are all coming from a certain class where certain opportunities were available for us, but what to make of those opportunities is eventually our efforts, and you've made those efforts. Do you feel yourself represented on the screen that you see, or the roles that you see nowadays?
So I haven't watched a lot of Pakistani dramas, but like
the ones that you've seen.
Yeah, but the one like I saw, the one that I'm recently watching is Jafar, where she's a doctor and she's worked really hard and she's a very successful gynecologist. And she's married, and of course, with a working woman, I feel like it's also how she balances her personal life and professional life. There's always that aligning both. Can be a challenge. It can be a struggle.
Do you also feel like dramas like Udari? We were talking about Udari, and you were talking about other dramas such as I think I recommended Dil Lagi to you.
Yeah, I have watched that.
You have to watch it. It's so cool. So do you think that when you watch dramas, a person like you who doesn't have that kind of time, do you find them entertaining? Do you find them this is a good use of, let's say, 1 hour that I have,
but like Udari,
what would you want it to, how would you want it to change?
Okay, like Udari was a very intense show. That kept me hooked. Like, it was just that I kept watching. I binge watched it, right? And with the kind of schedule that I have, I would not want to take up something that I'll have to binge watch. When I come back from work, I want to relax. I just want to watch something
so intense,
light, like maybe an episode of Friends, something as intense as Udari. As much as I loved it, I would only find the time to maybe watch it over the weekend or when I'm like off in summers or winters, whatever. But I really enjoyed the part where, it was on a social issue, right? So that the message, and I particularly enjoyed like every character. They acted so well. And I haven't watched many dramas, but the ones that I have watched, I've always seen that some of the characters, they really get into, some of the actors, they really get into the character. And it just feels like, okay, this is them. Like, they probably literally are like that, is why they're so 100% in the character. So I literally felt that in every character of Udari, like everyone just did so
although
well.
Ahsan Khan is not like that at all.
So but everyone acted so well. I think that was like more than the message and how they portrayed it. It was just the acting was spot on. Like, I could not really tell that, okay, they're pretending or acting. It's just like, okay, this is them, like, literally. So,
but like, the reason why I'm asking you about all of this is because I talk about Pakistani dramas. You know that, right? And I'm a huge fan of Pakistani dramas. I'm writing a lot for the Pakistani industry, films and dramas. So what I want to ask you is that you're the kind of person who we want to see on screen. Somebody who's positive. Yes, they've had their ups and downs and this and that, and in professional life and personal life, we all have our challenges, right? But I feel like women like you and I also believe that positive women are women we need to see more of. Same as positive men. We also often sometimes don't see positive men, and I see a lot of Pakistani dramas. You're the kind of person, and why I'm asking you this is that I want you to tell the writers that what is a part of you that you want to see on screen. Like, for example, I always believe that you should be a woman that fixes another woman's crown without telling her it's crooked. And we don't see that in real life much, let alone on screen.
I just also feel that, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like when something bad happens to someone, we feel like a lot of women, especially, they kind of feel happy about it. They feel like, okay, acha hua. Like, it give factor hota hai that if you really like the person, then it's like Allah ka test. Let's say someone's going through bad health or health condition. And if you really like that person, then you'll be like, oh, Allah ka test hai. Allah ka test hai. And if you don't like that person, then it's like, oh, Allah ka azab, dekha, aisi thi, aisa tha.
Dekha uska aisa.
I just fail to understand why we do that. Right? And also, I feel that, when something bad happens, there are people who, I don't know, I feel like part of them maybe just feels satisfied that they're not alone struggling. So, how we say that
misery loves company.
If something bad happens to you, people like it. They enjoy your downfall. But it probably isn't really that. It is just that they're suffering too. And they just feel like, okay, thank God we're not alone.
Like, somebody else is just as miserable.
Somebody else is also, because there are so many, so many disabilities that are very visible. but there's so much invisible disability as well.
True.
Like so my shoulder, like I have a problem with my shoulder and I have like a winged scapula, and it doesn't sound serious. It isn't. Probably isn't, right? But the amount of pain and struggle that I have gone through because of this, I cannot even explain. Like I've literally, at one point, I feel like I can't breathe. I felt like I'm going to die because the muscle was so tight and, I just could not use it properly. So I could not breathe. I literally, this one time, I cancelled my tuition classes. I rushed to the hospital. I was driving myself and I told him I'm having a heart attack. That was the kind of seriousness I literally thought or what my body was going through.
Yeah.
But if I tell you that I have a weak muscle, you'll just be like, okay, so.
Yeah.
So, or if I tell you, okay, my scapula is linked, I need to do physiotherapy. Yeah. So but the amount of agony, the pain that I had gone through because of that, it still hasn't been fixed. It's been 2 years. It hasn't been fixed. And if I tell someone, they will probably not comprehend it. They'll just be like, drama that we, ye kya baat hai? So I just feel like, okay, there could be so many other things people are going through which
just
we cannot even comprehend.
Yeah.
It may sound very little to us, and it's proven fact that everybody has a different pain threshold.
True.
Maybe if my muscle is causing me that much pain, it may cause you maybe this much pain.
Yeah.
So you can't really know. So it's just important to be kind and just be more. If a person is saying they're in pain, if the person is saying that they need help, just be there. You don't have to rationalize it and you don't have to question them and get to the bottom of it and make sure that they are in actual pain in order to extend help.
Yeah.
Just be there. Like, I literally, I did not want to tell people that, I felt like I'm going to die, because I could not breathe. I felt like I'm having a heart attack. Right? Because some people literally laughed at my face. They were just like, okay, like, are you mad? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm sure some may have just perceived it as drama kar rahi hai. And I'm not here to really
justify
explain and justify myself to people. I say that a lot, for people who believe you, no explanation will be needed. And for people who don't, none will suffice. So you can give them all the explanation in the world that you want.
Yeah.
If they have made up their mind to not believe you, they will not. So you don't have to waste your breath. You don't have to keep trying in order to make sure everybody in the world understands you and believes you. Can't happen. I'm a teacher. Maybe 40% of the kids love me. Maybe 40% are a little indifferent to my existence. And maybe 20% will not like me. And that is okay. I will still continue to teach all of that 100%.
Right.
Right. And I'm going to cherish all of that 100%, and I have to. So it's not going to be like, okay, only this 40% likes me, so I'm only going to keep more association with that.
Yeah.
So there will be people who will not like you. There will be people who will be indifferent to you, and there will be people who will love you. But it's just about, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's like part of being human.
We've heard this so many times. You can't be a plate of biryani.
Yeah.
You can't please everyone. And I'm going to tell you so many people who don't even like biryani.
Yeah.
So
that's how it is.
बिरयानी को बेचारे को भी मसला हो रहा है तो हम और आप क्या चाहिए? Right?
नहीं बिल्कुल. और आई होप के जो हमारे पाकिस्तानी ड्रामा देखने वाले लिखने वाले लोग ये हैं वो इन चीज़ों को समझें, क्योंकि ऐसे जो लोग होते हैं जो कि जिसे हम कहते हैं कि they are real people. Parsa is a very real person. She has gone through real ups and downs. What's happening in our television shows, unfortunately, is that we're showing very one-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
Where women are, and you don't watch as many. I, unfortunately, do have to watch sometimes for my work as well, that I have to watch a lot of dramas, and I'm like, I'm sorry, this is not a real woman. No real woman will work like this. No real woman will talk like this. She will not deal with a family like this. Yeah. Nobody does that. And इसमें क्या हो जाता है कि इसमें कभी-कभी जब मर्द हजरात ख़वातीन लिखते हैं या ख़वातीन मर्द हजरात लिखती हैं तो they just forget who they're talking about. And that's why I asked you this question, that when you go through all of these life's challenges, what are your thoughts? So I hope that people who are writing Pakistani dramas or creating Pakistani dramas will understand that this is what real people think like.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they all get lost in the ratings, but that's another debate altogether. Parsa, now we're moving towards the end of the conversation. I want you to talk to women like you who are not older but younger.
Yeah.
Here earlier I asked you about teachers who may want to step into the business. Now talk to the women who are going through difficulties in their lives and they're facing challenges, and but they do want to make something of themselves.
Yeah.
And while being positive is a great advice, and it's a great motto to have, that yes, everybody will have some problem, you need to plow through. What are the practical steps that they can take? Like, for example, one thing that I always tell women is that educate parents. So talk to parents, talk to young women through this video and tell them what they can do to ensure that their whatever ups and downs the life throws, whatever curveballs life throws them, they can come out stronger.
Yeah. So honestly, I feel like it's like a deep-rooted societal issue, you know. I remember when I was younger, in winters, like I used to get dryness on my hands, and there used to be like a black patch over here, right? And I was probably in second, third grade, and I still remember it. Like I literally have a clear image of
vivid image of it.
This happened, right? So I showed my mom, and she was like, "Oh, beta, winters thing." She's like, "Beta, sweater ki sleeve niche kar le." Like, you know, you don't want people to see it. And pata nahi kya hai, niche kar lena. Bilkul kisi ko don't tell anybody about it. I just niche kar lo. And I was just like so conscious about it, and I was like so careful that nobody gets to see that dry patch on my hand. And it was just dryness. It was literally just dryness.
Yeah.
So the kind of fears that have been inculcated in us, you know, since a very young age, especially women, is because, of course, like if people see this, they probably will make 10 things out of it.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, usko to ye bimari hai, usko to wo bimari hai, usko to ye kuch bhi bol denge. Right? So as a society, I think we need to stop doing that. And I don't feel like it's only towards women. It is also towards men.
Yeah.
Like just like मर्द नहीं रोते भाई क्यों नहीं रो सकते क्या उनमें
रोना चाहिए मर्दों को थोड़ा सा
क्या उनमें मर्द बनो कि भाई किस तरह की बात है राइट मतलब सब में इमोशन है वो रो सकते हैं भाई उनको भी फील हो सकता है इट इज टोटली ओके लाइक वी जस्ट मेड these stereotypes and we just expect everybody to kind of live by it, you know. So, and especially women, of course, women are more targeted in our society as opposed to men. But also like men, I don't feel like it's easy for them either. Like I'm going to speak on their behalf too because I feel like उनके ऊपर सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है भाई दुनिया जहाँ का सारा पैसा भी आप कमाएं घर में खाना भी आप दें सब कुछ आप करें सब आपकी जिम्मेदारी गाड़ी भी आप चलाएं lot of women they just depend on their husbands to even take them इधर से उधर हम गाड़ी भी नहीं चलाएंगे क्योंकि हम तो औरत है तो आपका काम
ना
क्यों भाई मतलब and considering the economic situation now I don't even feel like it's fair to men what we're doing that आप ही सब करो क्यों करो भाई When it's not
especially the middle class which is so burdened with the past couple of years.
अगर देखें तो एक घर में अगर हम एवरेज लगा लें 2 बच्चे तो हैं पर कपल बिल्कुल सही अगर मैं एवरेज लगा लूं बिल्कुल तो आप अगर देखें एजुकेशन कितनी एक्सपेंसिव है खाना पीना एवरीथिंग so expensive one person cannot earn and fulfill all those needs so they need a supporting hand and just because you're a woman you cannot be excused from working or moving a muscle
absolutely absolutely
so there are also these kind of women who have the potential but they just will not because hum kyun kare you know I remember this one person very distinctly she's like okay I'm not going to drive because when I start driving all the responsibilities will be on me I will make sure the husband earns enough to get me a driver if he cannot do it physically and I felt that was really unkind I mean, okay, drive, but also if you don't want to drive, move a muscle to maybe also earn to afford the driver. Maybe do it together, you know.
Yeah.
And then we expect equality. So if we have a bunch of women, and I'm not saying all women, but if we have a bunch of women doing that intentionally, not working, why do we expect equality there? Why do we expect?
Well, they shouldn't.
But then again, it's difficult to kind of figure out ना कि कौन सी वाली.
But like
जिसको काम नहीं करना, doesn't want to move a muscle, सब plate पे रखना मिल जाए.
वो तुम्हारी बात
ठीक है. Do you want to be actually contributing to?
But मैंने ये देखा है पारसा कि जब आप there are women who are overextended. beyond
definitely then we have those kind of women जिनके ऊपर आप पूरा burden लाद देते हो कि भाई अब आप खाना भी आप पकाओ बच्चे भी आप देखो नौकरी भी करो सब करो you know so again striking that balance I feel like also we need to not only educate our daughters and sisters but also educate the men you know अब वो लादने वाले कौन है वो है जिन्होंने यही देखा है कि भाई नौकरी करके चलो दे भी नहीं है मगर उन्होंने यही देखा है कि जमानों से यही चला रहा है घर में कि भाई सारा काम औरत करेगी तो लादने वाले भी वही लोग होंगे राइट सो वी काइंड ऑफ नीड टू राइज अबव दैट एंड आई honestly like आपको life का कुछ नहीं पता होता like we've talked so much about it you know you don't know what lies ahead you don't know the curveballs that life will throw at you don't know what lies ahead तो आपको अपनी बेटी को बहन को you need to make them financially independent and I cannot emphasize on how important it is हमारी सोसाइटी में ऐसा लगता है कमाती है तेज हो जाएगी कमाती है पर लग जाएगी भाई कमाती है तेज हो भी गई तो
अपने लिए होगी और अच्छी बात है
मतलब तेज होना इतना उसकी इतनी नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन है मतलब भाई अगर तेज हो गई मुझे लगता है तेज ना होना शुड बी
a question why isn't she smart enough
why isn't she smart enough
yeah
you know
absolutely
so I feel like and also to take a stand for yourself is very important you know you don't ever want regrets in your life कि यार काश मैं ना इनको ये बोल देती या काश मैं ना ये चीज बोल देती because that will always pinch you and want you like being a confident woman being a successful you know successful in your career whatever but just not being not having enough courage to take a stand for yourself for telling people they're doing wrong to you being unjust to you वो tolerate नहीं करना चाहिए आपको So unjust हो आपके साथ कोई आपके साथ गलत करा not saying go rebel against it or
and be angry at everyone
angry और लड़ाई करने of course no there's a तरीका आप भाई politely उनको बोलो this is not acceptable you cannot do this to me
you can't talk to me like that
you can't talk to me like that
yeah
you know like in my class like I told you like I'm very friendly to kids but if they cross the line which sometimes they might because
आप
इतना friendly है वो आपका
because you're dealing with how many kids per day like 11 batches is how many kids per day
over 600 kids in total right
somebody's bound to slip up
they might and you have that kind of banter so they might feel like okay she's so humorous and
we can say whatever
fun. We can say whatever but when they cross the line you tell them I can be like okay man I've made that image of myself I've made myself as to being the cool teacher so I wasn't accept it no you know if someone is bothering you whether it be someone older to you someone younger to you you must take your stand you must object to what is not acceptable that is really important of course financial independence and financial independence के लिए I don't necessarily feel कि सबके पास degree होनी चाहिए with this economy में अगर आप देखें so it is so expensive nowadays to acquire professional education so but again with so much opportunities being prevailed now if you're good in cooking you can start your own cooking business you know और आपको जरूरी नहीं है कि
and thanks to social media it's
social media की वजह से online pages you know if you're good at makeup you don't even need a certification for it if you're good at it आप भाई makeup करना शुरू कर so like there are so many opportunities और ये in fact होम बेस्ड भी है इतनी लड़कियां जिनको शायद इजाजत नहीं होती या उनके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं होता बच्चे होते हैं व्हाटएवर इफ दे हैव ऑल ऑफ दोस कंस्ट्रेंट्स दे कैन डू इट फ्रॉम होम राइट सो ऐसा नहीं है कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं है और पढ़े लिखे नहीं है तो कमा नहीं सकते लाइक वी हैव सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स नाउ बिकम लाइक अ sensation because of we had that guy selling fish 1 pound fish right so social media का जमाना है इतनी opportunities हैं जरूरी नहीं है कि आप पढ़े लिखे हो जरूरी नहीं है आपके पास डेंटिस्ट का थप्पा हो डेंटिस्ट्री की डिग्री हमने भी ली बट हम क्या रहे
केमिस्ट्री टीचर बने हुए
तो इट्स नॉट रियली अबाउट द डिग्री नहीं भी है अगर आपके पास प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन अपॉर्चुनिटीज और एवेन्यूज बहुत है राइट सो जस्ट मेक यूज ऑफ दैट and be financially independent and if the parents can please educate your daughters please educate your sisters and also educate your sons and brothers I think that is also important they need to know that आपने हर चीज औरत के ऊपर नहीं डाल देनी at the same time अगर वो capable है तो let them flying, you know.
Yeah.
ऐसा कोई नहीं है कि उड़ के निकल जाएगी,
कहाँ निकलेगी, कहाँ करेगी, क्या जाएगी.
नेगेटिविटी को आप प्लीज लेट गो करें, like just see things with a positive attitude. And बहुत चीजें हैं भाई, दुनिया में बहुत चीजें होंगी यार जो आप नहीं एंटिसिपेट कर रहे होंगे और आपको लगेगा शायद सबसे घटिया चीज आपके साथ हुई है जिंदगी में. But literally just look around you. There you will definitely find someone going through something worse.
Yeah.
And that will, I honestly feel, and I've said that a lot also, that जब आप गुनाह कर रहे हो ना, आप अपने से बेहतर को देखो. और जब आप कंप्लेन कर रहे हो ना, तो अपने से वर्स ऑफ वाले को देखो. You know.
Thank you so much, Parsa, for that enlightening conversation and for the idea of always being positive. I think that's something we often forget.
Yeah, I think that goes a long way. That helps you overcome all the struggles, all the problems. And I feel like incorporating it requires a lot of effort. And it is not easy. I mean, I also feel like you just don't get there and stop. It's like a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. And life is not about one giant happy journey. It's about a series of moments where you need to be thankful. You need to be content, like Parsa said. We hope that this conversation brings a lot of food for thought for everyone who watched this, who heard this. We hope that Pakistani drama writers tend to create more characters like Parsa, who've got a
nuanced drama named after me, just by the way.
Parsa, hai?
It is a drama, yeah.
Okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah. There is. You know, after that, my name became a more popular or
accepted.
People initially, people would ask me, what's your name? Parsa. Kya? Aisha? Kya? Teresa? Kya? Faiza? I'd be like, नहीं भाई, Parsa. और फिर Parsa drama आ गया, and thank God that made things.
तो भाई अब Parsa जैसी लड़कियां भी लिखें टीवी के ऊपर, ताकि हम Parsa की जर्नी जो है वो लोगों के लिए इतनी अजीब ना हो कि अच्छा केमिस्ट्री टीचर डेंटिस्ट बन के अकेले इतने सारे मर्दों के बीच में. उम्मीद करते हैं कि ये this conversation can bring this light to everyone. Thank you so much, Parsa, once again.
Thank you so much.
Wish we could have a longer conversation. We can talk for 4 hours, which Parsa and I actually do. But for this conversation, I want to sign off. I want to thank Parsa once again.
Thank you for having me.
अपना बहुत ख्याल रखिएगा. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow Parsa on her social media. And if you're somebody who wants to study chemistry, if you're in Karachi, you can, or you're anywhere in the world really, you can. Parsa gives online help as well to people who want to study chemistry. I don't. Done with chemistry, and very happy to have Parsa on this conversation.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine.
Yes, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Allah Hafiz.
Don't miss an update. Hit the bell icon and click on subscribe.